This is He Knows Everything. I'm not going to say bringing that heat that far. Because Malikah Shabazz, Malcolm X's daughter, was found dead in her Brooklyn apartment today. The news is officially broke out. And I'm saddened by the news. And the reason why I'm especially saddened is because as of late, I don't know why, it's just... people say you don't believe in coincidences. But man, I'm going to tell you right now, I believe in synergy. I believe in timing. I believe in things happen for a reason. And it just so happened that the time that I was listening to Malcolm X speak as of late, and the times that I've been intrigued by the Shabazz family. I've been intrigued by, their whole lineage, their whole genealogy of the fact that Malcolm X's father, it started with him. He believed in education. Malcolm X's father and mother made sure that Malcolm X became an educated man if he didn't become anything else. His father was well educated. His mom was well educated. And when you look at Malcolm X himself, he had his pitfalls. He had his ups and downs. He went from being a pimp to basically getting converted over into the Nation of Islam. Islam being his religion. He became a Muslim. And it was very interesting to see how his story panned out. A man who, once he converted, he became extremely pious. He upheld his faith. He had no basically unwavering convictions. This guy had integrity like nobody's business. He had what you called an actual conversion, not a manufactured, not a made-up conversion, an actual conversion. This is why I'm so intrigued by the brother Malcolm X, and I'm so intrigued by the way that he was. I mean, they shed so much light on Martin Luther King. They propped up the wrong person, man. Malcolm X should be the one that's propped up in the light that Martin Luther King is propped up, but that's usually the way it is. The one that's really getting his hands dirty, the one that's really into the nitty-gritty of things, the one that's really doing the things that he's supposed to do, he's never going to get the shine like the person who is the status quo. But anyways, to take that and formulate that into Malikah Shabazz, she grew up with the stigma of being Malcolm X's daughter. And the Malcolm X daughters, all of them came to the ideology and they came to the understanding that you're already Malcolm X's daughter, so you don't have to check that balance off to prove anything to anybody else in the outside. Malcolm X, if you ask him, he probably, because I can't say definitely because I'm not in the man's mind, he probably didn't want his daughters to be seen in the light that he was seen. He probably just wanted them to live a life where, he could protect them, and a life that they can grow up. I would see him being hard on them in terms of education, and in terms of them becoming educated, and in terms of them basically getting a foundational education to where they become highly intelligent beings and become profitable beings in society. I could see that. That I can see without question. I can see that without fail. Because of the genealogy of the Shabazz family and the way that they moved. But this is sad. Especially with, the dog stinging issue that her and her daughter went through. The fact that she did some jail time. She got out. She's been living her life. She's rehabilitated herself. It's just sad to see that family has gone through these curses that they're continuously going through. From his father, the way that his father was murdered by the KKK, to Malcolm X, and it's interesting that all of them just died it's just out of the blue the way that their deaths happen. And I'm not saying Malikah Shabazz's death is anywhere the similitude of Malcolm X, anywhere the similitude of Malcolm X's father. But it's just interesting that, you know, the generational line and how these deaths have taken place. I wonder, you know, what's going on in that genetic pool that these deaths are just happening out of nowhere. It's unfortunate because I really wanted to see all of the sisters, you know, live their lives to their fullest. Not saying that, you know, she was young like that, but 56 is considered, when you think of how much later people are living in life, 56, you still feel like you have so many years to still live your life. I mean, people are dying in their late 70s. People are dying in their early 80s. So if you hear somebody dies at 56, that's mind-boggling. That's gut-wrenching. That's spellbinding. And I just don't want to see no more deaths happen in that family. I'm at that position. I don't want to see them go through any more precarious situations where they're suffering, you know, a pivotal fate, where they're suffering, you know, in such a way where it's hurting them. I just feel for this family. My prayers go out to this family. You know, I want to pray and try to lift any curses, anything that can come across as it can be, you know, perceived as anything negative, any negative juju that's this family's way. I really want to pray on that. And this family is going to be in my prayer moving forward, because you don't want to hear that, especially with what happened to his father, especially what happened to him and his documented and precedented death, and how his death was so conspiracy filled. Till this day, his death is still unsolved. His soul, although it's resting, hasn't completely been resolved in the fact that these killers did not come to justice. And then this to happen to his daughter. I know Malcolm X got to be shaking in his grave. I know Malcolm X's father, her grandfather, has to be shaking in his grave. Like, it's just something that's just there. That's just like a bad karma, bad vibe that you're getting, that's just constantly passing down. And I just want to send my prayers out. I want to send my condolences out to the Shabazz family, because this is a time of bereavement. This is a time of consoling them. This is a time for us to really coordinate and get around them, and for us to really put our minds and our hearts together and say, you know what? This family right here, this family gene pool, this family's name has done a lot for American history, American civilization, American culture. It's done a lot. And Malikah Shabazz, although she wasn't perfect, and although she made some mistakes in her life, she's still a Shabazz nevertheless. And I'm sure in her life, she was able to impact her daughter. She was able to impact others in her life. And I'm hearing that she had the resolve that her father had. And it's so interesting that Malcolm X's genetic pool line is so strong. You could see his visage. You could see his facial features in his daughter. You definitely see it in Malikah Shabazz. She looks like her dad. She looks like a spitting image of her dad. Like, he could not deny that that was his child. I just feel bad. My heart and soul goes out to this family, because what this family means to American culture, what this family means to American history, and it's not just black culture, it's not just black history. We're talking about in general, in terms of the culture and the history, on how they've impacted American civilization, how they've impacted the right to stand up for yours, the right to guard yourself, the right to not take anything from anybody, the right to stand up for what's right, and to hold serve, and to believe and to have faith. This family is powerful in that regard. They're powerful from that aspect. They're powerful from that mindset. And because of that, my heart goes out to them. My soul goes out to them. And I'm pleading and yearning for her soul. I'm praying for her soul, because she's gone. She gave up her ghost. She's no longer here anymore. But my prayers go out to the Shabazz family, and I'm hoping that we, as black people, set the standard, set the example, and get behind this. Don't have nothing negative to say about her. And to really do something that seems impossible, but it's not. Because what seems impossible to man, behold, all things are possible to those that are in Christ Jesus. And this is possible. We're going to have to get together. We're going to have to put our heads together as a people and start looking at this moment and saying, you know what? Our heart goes out to the Shabazz family. We want to pray protection over this family moving forward. And we want to give the Shabazz family that consolement. We want to give them that bereavement, and we want to give them that moment of privacy. That's what I'm expecting. Am I asking for too much? This is what is expected in this moment. This is not no moment to do no hyperboles. This is not no moment to play around. This is a moment to be serious. And boy, because this is hitting me hard, because I'm, as of late, looking at a lot of Malcolm X stuff. I'm looking at his family, the way that they are. I mean, they've been impressing me. And then to find out about this news. I found out about this news when me and Ross was doing our Alpha Male Powwow. And he said, man, I got to go. And I was like, what's up? What happened? We were in the middle of a great conversation. And then he said, Malikah Shabazz was found dead in her apartment. It just made my heart drop. Because I know that this is what I've been doing. I've been doing active research and studying of this family. I don't know why. I don't know what has inspired me. I don't know what determination I've been having as of late for it. I don't even know where this is going. But to be honest with you, that's been my soul crusade thing to do at this moment. So to see her pass away is gut-wrenching. Because I was just getting to the point where I was starting to learn about them. And in learning about them, now I have to learn about this element of it. It's sad. Because I felt like there was so many more years left in her life. The toxicology report hasn't come in. So her death is still undetermined. What was the cause of it? But I'm hoping there's no foul play. I'm hoping they don't come out and say that there was something that caused her death outside of the original natural cause of death. Just let it be a natural cause. Let it not be anything that has anything to do with malicious intent, corruption, someone trying to basically tear down the Shabazz line again. Because if that's the case, it's really going to boil and it's going to stir something in me. And it's going to let me know it's something about the genetic pool and the genealogy of this family that really bothers the fiber and the being of American culture and American history. And I'm really going to feel some type of way about that. Malikah Shabazz, may God rest your soul. The Shabazz family, I send my condolences out to you. And we as black people, we need to get together. This is a moment for us to get together, stop being on conquer and divide, stop being on divide and conquer, and really put our heads together and say, you know what? We're going to be here for one cause. Enough is enough. This is He Knows Everything. Checking out.